Hello, welcome to Nursing 717. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Abbas Tavakoli, and I am going to teach this course for you. I would like to just for short review going over introduce myself and overview how you can be successful for this course. So um, if you look at my CV, which I posted in faculty information, you can see my background. I had my bachelor degree in animal husbandry from Tehran University, which is like 40 years veterinarian program. And then I came here and I got my master in biostatistics in 1990, and I got my doctorate in biostatistics 98, and I got master in computer engineering 2003. All three my advanced degrees from University of South Carolina. Uh, in terms of my professional work, I worked 2 years in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was a statistician in health statistics department, and uh, and then since '92, I've been with University of South Carolina. A couple things I have taught a statistics course past 20 years in different level, and as I had several sort of award. One thing I am proud of it is my teaching ability. I got outstanding graduate faculty award from College of Nursing and several outstanding for University 101, which I usually teach for our freshmen. So my background, I work as a data management and a biostatistician in so many grants, and currently several grants, R01 and KO1, and different small grant to big grant. So you can review my background. Why is that important? Because that is most of these grants being by nursing faculty and is showing how you can use a statistical in evidence-based practice. So, and that is the reason, one of the reasons you take in this course to have better understanding of statistics and apply that sort of in research in your practice, and so that's important to know. So I let you look at all those, and that's when you do using all these evidence-based practice, and you can publish it, and you would gonna see sort of several of these publication I use in class for assignment, and I just want to show you how you can apply statistical in evidence-based practice. So also in terms of my professional role, I'm executive board for one of the conference, SAS conference, which is one of the software worldwide being used to analyze the statistical procedure. So I'm one of the board member for my professional, and I'll be going as section coordinator for SAS Global conference. Again, that is a statistical software. So the publication, you can check some of these publication, all related to nursing field, and so it's important. And the other thing I just want to emphasize is, again, if you are in DMP or going to doctoral, so you're going to see you are going to work with someone like me to help you to finish your project, a DMP project. And that's I have done, help a lot of students, many students to go over their project and to graduate. So you can list all those students. So that's a little bit about my background. As you can look at it and sort of see why. So I'm teaching this course. I like to help a student understanding the material. Now, going over what we cover for this course and why you should take this course is this course we're covering starting with basically introducing to statistics, defining the type of variables you're going to use, because it's important what type of a statistical procedure you're going to use based on the type of variables you have. So we're going to go over descriptive statistics for categorical and continuous variable, and and then we move on to probability. This is a sort of a fundamental part of statistics, and when, for example, you're using the screening test, sensitivity, specificity, all use probability. So we're going to go over just a very brief introduction to probability, and then anything we use in a statistic, we're dealing with the distribution. So the probability distribution for a categorical, some of those categorical variable and continuous variable, we're going to look at binomial and Poisson for categorical, and a normal and a standard normal for the continuous variable. Then we move on to confidence interval and hypothesis testing, and we're going to cover, we're going to look at one sample mean, two sample mean, the difference between two sample mean, one sample proportion, two sample proportion, and then one sample variance and two sample variance. So we cover all those for confidence interval and hypothesis testing. And a lot of times when you have a question in evidence-based practice, you're going to use hypothesis testing to test if your question, you'll be able to answer your question. Then we're moving to analysis of variance when your outcome is continuous and you have more than two levels in your group. So we're using ANOVA and then factorial design. And then we could talk about categorical analysis, including chi-square test for independent homogeneity, Fisher exact, and goodness of fit. And then we move on to correlation, Pearson experiment correlation, semi and partial correlation, and then regression, simple and multiple regression. And then we also going to cover a little bit about vital statistics, which is rates, risk measurement, morbidity, mortality, overview of some study design, and have some material in terms of sampling section, sample size, power, and then sort of different type of bias. And also we're going to have short overview on non-parametric tests. When you have a small sample size and or your distribution is skewed, usually you want to use non-parametric tests. So, and this course basically every week you're going to have assignment, and I created my own handout. And the handout I created is, the intention was taking those notes to class and write it down on the board, and the student take my note. So, and I use a lot of examples. The handout also have some programming. So what I would suggest is your intention should be to look at the content, and you may find some typos, some grammar. The intention wasn't writing a book or writing in sort of English. So a little bit writing style for when you write mathematic formula or mathematic content is a little bit different writing other topics. So I just want to give you a heads up about that. If you find some grammar or typo, the intention wasn't writing a book, so just, look at the content. And one thing I want to make sure you understand, the note, maybe I go more detail in some theoretical and concepts, so you can skip those. And if you just understanding the concept, overall concept is important. And by looking at the, for example, when we talk of one sample t-test, understanding what is the formula and looking at the example, how would you do one sample t-test? So I may go over some programming. You can skip completely on those. Those are for someone who are really interested to learn and do some programming. So I want to have a complete handout for you. Also, I require a book, but the book, I would suggest to look at the book if you buy it. And the last thing, if you don't understand any material from my handout and then watching my lecture and looking at the tips for homework, if still you have problem, either you can contact me or getting the book. So I wouldn't, I think my material is covered. I don't use any test or any question from the book. Book is just for you as reference. So that's up to you if you want to purchase it or not. But what I would suggest, going to the blackboard and looking at all the how you be successful in terms of your in this course, how much time you want to. And again, I would suggest look at the handout, watch my my lecture, and then when you wanted to do the homework, look at the tips I posted. And on those tips, I go over which each problem, what you exactly need to do. So I would strongly suggest to go over the tips. Then when I finish your homework, you post your homework every week. Usually I post my solution. I would suggest to go over those solutions. If still some material is not clear to you, you would can contact me. And the other thing is, you always can email me or post question in discussion board, which I recommended strongly because your question could be someone else's question. That way I can answer posted on the discussion board. And I would try to respond to your email as soon as possible. Usually I am prompt on that. So again, I welcome all of you to this class, and I wish you all best and good luck.